welcome to Heads Up. In the aftermath of the Delhi University Student Union elections, which saw the ABVP sweeping all four posts once again, today on the show we're discussing, should students be getting involved in politics at the college level or not? Now, at whatever level they're carried out, politics and elections when you're in college are extremely exciting times, and college students in India and abroad are usually always at the forefront of political activism around the country. So to discuss the topic, we are joined by Shrishti Vasudev, who believes that students should be getting involved in politics at the college level, and Riya Sirkal, who believes that they shouldn't be. Both are students at Delhi University and they witnessed the elections and they were part of it. Shrishti, we'll start with you. Why do you think that they should be involved in politics?
I personally feel like, as we all know, India is one of the countries that has the largest youth population in the world, right? But sadly, everyone here sees an ideal path for them, right? First you do schooling, then you go to college, then you graduate, you get an ideal pay package, then you get married, and all life is all like a bed of roses. But we do need people to go ahead and actually get involved in places where you need your voices to be heard, right? And that's essentially what I think the youth can do. Why? Because they have, fresh ideas, and therefore that's where innovation comes into play, right? Because you don't go by the cliched norms of leading a country or bringing about change. And I think that is something which is very essential, and all youth should try in going towards that direction.
So Riya, why do you believe that they should not be getting involved in politics?
Let's say the kind of politics that take place at the college level, right? Because mostly we see that the candidature is fixed. The kind of student unions that are affiliated to eminent political parties are the only ones that are able to come up, which is very undemocratic for starters, right? Now, in the kind of hooliganism that takes place, the way they campaign, shouting about, littering college premises, it's not a very correct way of, seeking redressal, so to say. It is kind of disillusioning to the students as well. The students think, okay, this is politics. Politics is not a good thing, and it kind of makes the mindset of the students very corrupt, which is a very negative thing, so to say.
Okay, so you're basically saying that it becomes messy, it becomes shabby, and that gives a bad impression.
Yeah.
What do you have to say for Shrishti's point, that we need the young to get involved in politics, especially in India?
See, first of all, we need to understand why a student enters a college. They want to get a basic degree education, and what the political, participating in political activities basically deviates from the main aim. They're not able to concentrate on studies. There is huge amount of classes are missed, and also we need to understand that this is not the way. This is not the way of probably seeking redressal. That we need, after our education, we can go to, we can contest elections if we want, and also we need a training. At the college level, we are not trained enough. We are still very immature. We don't know how to go about, contesting elections and stuff. So we need a kind of, education first. We need to know what the scenario is, and we need to understand how things work in order to, participate in politics.
Go ahead.
This idea is exactly what I'm saying, right? This idea of deviation from your main goal, which is what I'm saying, that there should be no a particular goal that you're aiming for, which is studies or a job, for example.
Look at the larger picture.
Yes, and more than that, for as long as the dirty aspect of politics is concerned, I think there's always a negativity in almost everything around us, right?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there's not a counter idea that exists. Because even I'm a part of this Delhi University, and I also see this dirty politics, but doesn't mean that's the only idea I have in my mind. I also know that that's not how politics are supposed to happen in reality.
Valid point. What about Riya's point that she said that in college you still are slightly immature? So you're not very grown up, you're still young, you're about 18, 19 when you come into college, and that's not a time to be getting involved in politics.
I don't personally believe that. Like I said, I think we have a lot of new ideas and innovation is there at play, and I think that's something we have to do away with, because our elders also, like for example, all learned and experienced politicians think that, these kids don't know what they're saying and therefore they don't take us seriously. I think that's something we need to change, because we know what we want for our country, and we know where our country needs to work on poverty, unemployment, so on and so forth. So we have strong ideas which we think we can, use in changing things, and this casual attitude which people think we have is something we need to target, and that's essentially why I think you should join politics.
Okay. Riya, she's saying that you're still young, that's fine, but it's the prerogative of the youth to be getting involved in politics and making a difference. And if a person is part of the NSUI or ABVP, what's the problem? harming the student?
We should look at the kind of campaigning, the process of campaigning. Let's start with how they distribute their pamphlets and cards, and they litter the whole campus area, right? Now again, they go and deface walls, they go write their names on the walls, they shout slogans, they enter into classrooms, they barge in, they create a kind of commotion which is completely not acceptable in a university premises. We go there to study, we go there with a basic aim, right? Now we need to realize that this is completely the shouting away and wanting power, just shouting for power will not get us power.
It's not helping them
It is
either.
not helping. We need a kind of meaningful way to make our way to the power. We need a systematic and peaceful way wherein we can get in power. This is we also need to realize how all this is kind of giving a negative impact of the youth. We see how the campaigning goes on. We're just we want to refrain from those kind of people. We think they are dangerous. Why? Now this has to change. Why will we elect someone who we think is dangerous? Also, I talked about how the candidates are fixed. Like two parties, we know ABVP and NSUI have been dominating for years. There is no place for a new party to come up and talk and raise their voice, because guess what? The people are so entrenched in these these two parties that there is no place for a new idea to come up as such. So the point of innovation and creativity completely falls down, because there is no innovation and creativity. There is complete barbaricness about going about elections. And also we need to realize the kind of malpractices that go on. Recently a girl was molested in a rally. That is also why a lot of colleges abstain from being a part of DUSU. They are afraid of, their students might be harmed. So in all this, it's kind of a dangerous environment. So how is it exactly helping us in, creating a democratic nation, so to say?
Shrishti, she's saying that you're still immature, and the way that these candidates behave shows that they might not be ready for politics, and they give the other students a bad impression about how politics are done. What is your take on that?
I have first of all 2 points to make. Firstly, if she's saying, for example, that there's no scope for another party to come into play, and then you're saying but students should abstain from politics, I think these are counter arguments, right?
Okay.
You can't have, if you want a new party, then you will have to have people. And when you say that the youth shouldn't participate, that's where the idea comes about that, okay, listen, it's dirty, so we should not go. But when you propagate the idea that, listen, you can change things, then people will go ahead and another party will come about. Another party hasn't come about because of ideas like that, first. Second, I feel that, when you're, this is a very important way of communication between the students and the administration, right? What she's talking about, dirty campaigning and everything, is one aspect. If we look at the result, right, now this party politics has led to FYUP being withdrawn, right, because of continuous rallies that were held outside the Vice Chancellor's office. And who did this? These parties went ahead and did this, and they did it for whom? It was a representation of us who went into the 4-year graduate program. And now that if it's been withdrawn for our benefit, I think a major chunk of credit goes to them, because if these parties are not there, understand what will happen? A lot of chaos, the chaos which you're talking about will then be double. Why? Because there's no direction in which our views are being portrayed, right? Then this administration will go ahead and do whatever they want to do. Why? Because they don't know what we want as such, and what we want is what is being represented by them, and we've seen the result in the case of FIUP, for example.
That's a valid point. I'll take that to Ria. But why do we need to get affiliated under a political banner? Why can't we just have a student leader who is democratically elected and works for the students? But why do they need to be affiliated to a political party?
See, I'll tell you essentially how, like 2 things. First of all, sadly enough, yes, I accept, but that's how the society functions, right? You need a little amount of power for your voice to be heard. And that's essentially why all of us sitting here can't have a say in what the administration does, right? That's how India as a democratic nation functions. We go ahead and vote for a representative because we can't say, "Acha, listen, you do this in the parliament," right? That's essentially how the power system works, that you give someone that power to represent your voice, and your representation is then done by the power that he holds first. Second, I think this can be done, but when you're here saying that, listen, children should not participate only at the college level, I don't see how this clean representative participant would come into the picture at all.
Okay. Ria, she's saying that when you have politics in college, the students are sort of a link between the mass of students and the administration. What is your take on that?
See, first of all, we need to realize even after elections, it's not like the candidates who are elected have complete power. The authority still relies in the hands of the administration, and no policy as such can be passed without the mandate of the administration, which makes the whole process very redundant. We are electing someone, so much effort, so much money, so much commotion is created in the campus. For what? The people are not even directly in power. They have to go seek mandate from someone, which if they don't get, they won't even fight for it. So the whole process gets very, redundant, and it doesn't have any, importance as such.
But that's
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
But that's essentially how a democratic society functions, right? If all of us have the power, it will lead to utter chaos, because then everyone can do whatever they want to do. But and why we all, for example, we all have a particular opinion. It's represented by one person, and there's a continuous dialogue and discourse that happens, right?
But is there a dialogue and discourse that happens in
Yes,
India?
exactly. Because when the representative, for example, was saying that, let's say FIUP has ABC harms, which were there in front of everybody, and the vice chancellor was saying, no, listen, this will help you in XYZ ways. Eventually, because of that discourse and because of that multiple dialogue that was prevailing, eventually one succeeded, right? Which is the case everywhere. So if everyone has power, we won't be able to go anywhere, because 10,000 opinions will then have 10,000 results. Whereas here you see one dominant opinion, which by the consent of everyone should go ahead and become the opinion in everyone.
That push you're talking about is necessary, but is it worth all the trouble that, these campaigns are making us face?
And that is also another problem I have, that, people think that girls should not enter politics. Why? Because, they'll be molested, they'll be, it'll become really problematic for them, and a girl in the political sphere is not well seen, supposed to be the ideal girl or something of the sort. And that's also what I want to tackle by this move, right? And we need to understand that in certain situations, there are harms, yes, but you need to see if the benefits outweigh the harms, and over here, I think they do.
Ria, if we put aside how Delhi University elections are done, are there any positive points or good takeaways from how politics are done? What if it was done in a clean way? What if we put aside how it's actually done and we look at creating a type of politics at the college level that is positive? Do you think that's possible?
Then we come to your point. Why do there need to be politics? We can have candidates, getting their manifesto, talking to students and telling them what they want to do, and being elected on the basis of merit. Then they don't have to go to, their political parties to get funds or whatever they want. Then we all come together as students. There is no politics in it. We come as students and
elect one student leader that's not affiliated to a political party.
Even if it's a student group, it doesn't need to be affiliated to an eminent political party as such. That's all.
Okay. I'm going to get your closing remarks now. Shrishti, wrap up your entire argument for us.
All I feel is that, yes, there are negativities, but to be able to get away with those negativities, you can't completely abstain students from participating at the college level, because I think that's a step forward in making your voices heard to seek redressal. And in the absence of that kind of an environment where you can't raise your voice and the administration becomes completely authoritative in whatever rules and regulations and policies they want to bring about, I think that will lead to a more problematic environment than we have right now. And yes, I think solutions can come out for the way elections are held, but I think participation is essential.
So participation is essential, even if it's done slightly shabbily. What is your argument? Wrap it up.
I want to say that participation and, students having a voice is necessary, but not at the cost of, completely making the whole university haywire, completely uprooting schedules and, to go about the way these people are now going. I want to say that also girls should come up and, take part in politics as and when they want. I do not want to say they shouldn't. There should be a civil way of doing it. There should be a, right way of doing it. And also, the administrative, so to say, should be more flexible in giving students a kind of rights, which it's not in due. And also, we need to have a code of conduct which should be strictly followed by these candidates.
Okay, thank you, ladies. I think you put across your points extremely eloquently. Shrishti believes that even if politics is shabby, the benefits that you get from it, you cannot ignore. You must take those into consideration, while Ria still believes that it's too shabby and it's not worth it. It's not worth getting involved in politics. Either way, like I said earlier, politics in college time is extremely exciting. But that brings an end to the debate. We're going to slip into a short break, but we have lots more on the other side.